You know, my brother, the national debt now is almost 12.5 trillion. And we have borrowed 4 trillion in the last 2 years. And we are borrowing about 3.5 billion daily. That's okay, we can borrow 3.5 billion daily. But what is annoying is that 3 billion is being stolen daily through procurement. You know, why are we borrowing to steal? William Ruto and his government are borrowing 3.5 billion daily, and then they steal 3 billion daily. You saw the other day a video, one of his MPs from Rift Valley, weighing money with a weighing scale. You know, because they have no time to count. The money is too much that counting billions will take a long time. So they weigh one note, they weigh one bundle, and they count it and they weigh. Then they use the weighing scale, you know, to be able. I saw another video that there is a central bank in Italy. You saw notes being packed. All this is money that is corruption through procurement. William Ruto has made corruption through procurement a way of life in this country. And he has started by having corruption in the State House, where he bribes people daily when people can see without even hiding, without even being ashamed. I used to see people bribing policemen, hiding a little bit. You know, they would hide, fold the note. Because bribery is not a good thing, they will hide a little because they are ashamed, because bribery is not a good thing. He called chiefs and assistant chiefs and bribed them with 10,000 each, and cheated them that he'll make them DOs. And the chiefs were just laughing because it's a lie. They know it's not possible because we don't have those number of administrative divisions. So one of the chiefs called me from somewhere, I don't want to say where, they'll hunt him down. And he said, this man is such a liar. He's telling us to go and lie to the people of Kenya that he will make Kenya Singapore. But what is sad is that he has lied to us, ourselves, before he can go and lie to the people that he will make us DOs. And we know very well that it is not possible, you know. We had him bribe teachers, bribe everybody. This is money that has been stolen because it's not his money. His salary cannot match what he's using to bribe people. You have seen the sale of national assets, you know. The Safaricom, you know, Safaricom. Safaricom was sold to Kenyans in 2007, 25% shares. There was IPO, the initial IPO. Kenyans oversubscribed. They bought everything. I tried to buy, they could only allow me to buy a little. Today, those shares are being sold to a foreign company, Vodacom, at 34 shillings. Kenyans have analyzed the growth of Safaricom, its potential, its outreach, and they are putting that value at almost 70 shillings.
Gachagua, how much is a share as you speak at the NEC of Safaricom?
I am not sure. I'm told it's 30-something or 40-something.
It is 28.
Whatever it is. But you see what you do with a business. You look at its potential. You look at the potential of that business, and you look at its projected growth, so that you know what is the potential value. You know, again, what we are saying, this is a company that is so central in Kenyans' lives. It's the one doing M-Pesa, almost everybody on Safaricom. Why do you want to give it to a foreigner? If this company must be sold, why don't we sell it to Kenyans? Open it to the people of Kenya, let them buy. Why do you want to give a foreign company 55% ownership, majority shareholders of a company that is so central in our lives?
I had that discussion
why
with the CS Treasury today.
Why it is being sold?
The CS Treasury today, I had a discussion with him in the studio today.
Yes.
And the shares at the NSC today for Safaricom goes at 28 shillings. So 34 shillings is profit for the government.
But why can't you open it to Kenyans?
And the government went through a process for the past 6 months, going through and analyzing, doing research to understand how much that would be. And today, the money that is held at Safaricom, over 240 billion shillings that the government says this is money lying idle. at the NEC, and we can take that money, inject it into development of the country that Kenyans move, because at the end of the day, the Singapore story that President William Ruto speaks about needs this country to march in terms of development. Based off that explanation, why would you oppose the government taking its assets, selling it?
Our constitution makes public participation a must. When you are dealing with anything that belongs to the public. Have they asked the people of Kenya? No. They are trying to ask now. I saw an advertisement because we have complained. Have they asked the people of Kenya? If you look at this company, since inception, they have paid taxes 1.48 trillion. Since inception, they have paid 550 billion in terms of dividends. When you look at the amount of money they pay every year, yeah? What is the wisdom of selling this company? Because it's like saying, because we have no food here in this house, I sell my household items here, and then I buy food. Then after I finish the food, what happens? When you look at the dividends that they pay to the government, when you look at that amount, where will it be coming from?
The dividend that we talk about is around 16 billion annually every year. But even then, when we talk about public participation, there is a process under law, especially because when you talk about matters transaction, there is a process that guides the same. As we speak right now, Kenyans have been asked to go.
A decision has already been made to sell the company.
Kenyans have been given an opportunity to lend their voices on the sale of these shares that we are talking about. The government of Kenya has not decided it is selling. If Kenyans say no, it will not be sold.
My brother,
how do you oppose it?
My brother.
Instead,
my
shouldn't
brother,
you be asking Kenyans to
to
participate in this public participation, Mr. Gachagua?
You don't say you are selling this and even the amount before the people of Kenya can tell you to sell. You first say we want to sell. Then when you are given the go-ahead by the people of Kenya to sell, then you start the process. But they have already completed the process, agreed they are selling to who, at how much, then they are coming to the people of Kenya. And then they are coming through Parliament. Parliament is an appendage of William Ruto. You can tell how it will go. There is no public participation. It's an exercise in futility. It's a fait accompli. It is simply formalizing what has already been decided. But the question we are saying, why don't you ask the people of Kenya whether you need to sell Safaricom?
It's what they're asking
when they tell you yes, why don't you give them an opportunity to buy? Why do you want to sell it to a foreign company? Why don't you let the people of Kenya own this company that is so important to their lives? Why do you want it to be owned by a foreigner? But you have already decided whom to sell. How are those negotiations done? Because they are commissions. Because they are people who have an interest. They are people who have gained money there. What we are saying, if Safaricom must be sold, let the people of Kenya, with their financial challenges they are having, be allowed to buy. I buy for 20,000, another one for 20,000. Then the company remains here. The government will remain with the shares, 35%. The people of Kenya, yeah, will own the 15, yeah, plus the other 25 we bought the other time. Then the company, 60% is owned by government and the people of Kenya. Why do you want to give 55% majority shareholder to a foreigner? A company that is so instrumental in Kenyan lives. Why?
But you know that Vodacom is part and parcel of Safaricom as we speak today, right?
No. Those are foreigners. And if Kenyans have not said they are not able to buy Safaricom, we were given an opportunity in 2007. We bought. We oversubscribed. In fact, they were allocating. You could not buy what you wanted. They had to allocate. Why can't we give this opportunity to the people of Kenya? If we must sell Safaricom, which I disagree, we need not sell it. The amount of money we are raising from Safaricom is good for our country. And by selling it, we are going to lose revenue. And what will happen, that revenue we used to get from Safaricom, we'll have to overtax Kenyans. Because we must get that money we used to get from Safaricom. It's like selling a cow that you are milking so much milk and selling and drinking, and then taking it to the butchery, and then get one off so that you build a toilet in your home. Then what happens? How will you get milk? How will your children get milk? It is an ill thought out proposal. It is unnecessary, and it is informed by conflict of interest.
As the process continues, because that is the process that is there, that is recognized under the law, what is your message to Kenyans who are being urged today to go to these venues to give their views on the sale of Safaricom?
Those public participation forums will be micromanaged by Parliament. Kenyans must agitate and Kenyans must go to court. This is the only language William Ruto can understand. We must go to court. That if Safaricom must be sold, Kenyans must be given the first opportunity. Because they have not been given and they have said they are not able to buy. And they have a proven track record that they are able to buy the shares in Safaricom. In 2007, yeah, Kenyans were given the opportunity to buy, they oversubscribed. And they could not buy as much as they wanted. So if Kenyans agree that Safaricom need to be sold, we are demanding that the people of Kenya be given the first opportunity to buy Safaricom so that it remains Kenyan, so that government can own some shares and other shares are owned by the people of Kenya.
Let's remain on the question of debt. The country is said to have borrowed all these 12.5 trillion, but that is not seen. If you look at the laws, PFM Act, on how borrowing is done, you only borrow for development. And today, you look at how much we've borrowed vis-a-vis what we see, and we cannot see what 12.5 trillion shillings has done. Therefore, Mr. Gachagua, the odious debt that does exist in the country, first of all, do you believe that there is odious debt? And if that is the case, then should Kenya pay this odious debt?
Unfortunately, the people of Kenya will have to pay that debt because they have been committed by government. And what is sad is that they shall pay for money that is being stolen. The money that is being borrowed is used to bribe them. It is being used to bribe voters. It's being used to bribe chiefs and teachers. It's being used to host people at State House. It's so sad, but the people of Kenya will have to pay. So what we need to do is to make sure we vote out this government so that we stop that borrowing for money for using to steal and using it to bribe people. And that we must do, and that is why most of us, we are saying the problem of Kenya cannot be tribalism. The way Ruto wants to say, the problem is that he is stealing. He's borrowing money from other bodies, that money that people of Kenya will pay, yeah, and then stealing the same amount of money and bribing them with the money. And then when he gets on top of his vehicle, he says there's no problem in Kenya. The problem of Kenya is tribalism.
What is the position on President William Ruto's State of the Nation address? He says that at the macro level, the government is doing very well. International lending institutions are doing very well. But down at the ground, because you listen to people,
that is just a talk.
What is the actual position of Kenyans with regard to the economy and how they are feeling in their pocket? And if you form government, my brother, how would you fix that?
My brother, if you want to know economic growth, forget about those figures of inflation, of economic growth. I don't know, macroeconomics, Talk to the people of Kenya and ask them how the economy is doing. They will give you an answer. During the reign of Mwai Kibaki, Kenyans felt economic growth. You didn't need to give a State of National address. You didn't need to give an economic survey to tell the people of Kenya that the economy is growing and there is economic growth. The people of Kenya felt economic growth. There was money in circulation. You know, the bypasses were opened up. Houses came up. There was money in circulation everywhere. Everybody was happy. Today, despite borrowing that amount of 3.5 million every day, Kenyans are paying bills of 800 billion. If you read the Nation newspaper daily, there are 6-7 pages of auctions. People are being auctioned, their properties, their land, their houses, their matrimonial houses are being auctioned. Simply because government owes them for the last 3 years, 5 years, they have refused to pay them. Marriages have been broken. People are committing suicide because of being auctioned, because of getting destroyed economically, because of non-payment of bills. So when Ruto goes to Parliament to say the economy is growing, what do those people whose property is being auctioned because they are owed money by government, how do they feel? And what is sad, all those houses and land that is being auctioned, It's not being bought. There's nobody to buy. I went the other day to Ayad in Narok. I found more than 50 vehicles. They have been there for 1 year. They were repossessed for sale, but there is nobody to buy, nobody has money. So when you say that the economy is growing, that there is improvement, that the economy has stabilized, who are you telling? As we go for Christmas, Kenyans are a very sad lot. Many Kenyans will not even enjoy Christmas. Many of them are sulking. They are worried about January. Where will they get money to take their children to school? Where will they get money to pay for licenses for businesses that are not performing? You have to renew your license in January, but nobody comes to your shop to buy. Yet you have to renew your licenses. Kenyans are a very unhappy lot as we proceed for this Christmas. Kenyans are very sad by the state of the economy. And that is why most people are switching the TV off when William Ruto was lying to the people of Kenya in parliament that Kenya is doing very well economically. He has stabilized the economy. Oh, we are on a very good trajectory. Whom is he telling? Talk to the ordinary Kenyan people. You know, today, tea farmers, they are going home with a bonus as less as 12 shillings. That's something that has not happened in the history of this country. Simply because William Ruto mismanaged foreign policy on the relationship with Sudan. He went to interfere with the internal affairs of Sudan. He went to work with the rebel groups, sending them arms, buying gold from them. Then the government of Sudan got annoyed and stopped importing our tea. We have been selling 15% of our tea, of our green tea to Sudan. As a result, most of our tea is in Mombasa and bought. And the prices have gone down because we used to get very good prices from Sudan. As we speak today, farmers from his place in Kericho are saying 1 term. Farmers in Nandi are saying 1 term. Tea farmers from his place where he comes from. His own tribesmen are saying 1 term. Because for a long time, for the last 30 years, they have never received bonus as low as they have received. You know, as we go for Christmas, many people are doing harambis to pay hospital bills. SHA is not working. They have been deducted money, but SHA cannot pay. Many people over this Christmas have harambis to raise money for hospital bills. You know, many people, they have supplied food to hospitals. They have not been paid. Many people have supplied food items to prisons. They have not been paid. Everybody is stuck as we go for Christmas. Yet the president has the audacity to appear in parliament, drinking water, and MPs are shouting there 2 term, and he's saying how Kenya is doing well, how happy people are, you know. And he was saying, oh, he has, you know, he was in America, he has been invited there. You know, I saw Trump. I think he's a very interesting character. William Ruto was telling Trump that there are problems in Sudan, and there is a humanitarian crisis and Trump should intervene. And Trump just looked at him because he has intelligence that William Ruto is responsible for the crisis in Sudan, and he is here pretending to invite Trump to intervene in Sudan. And Trump just looked at him. He did not respond to him, you know. So, you know, I have had, I would like you give me an opportunity to talk about the Singapore. I prepared something because I would like to debunk.
Let's actually go there. Because you see, Mr. Gachagua, one of the issues that also has bedeviled this country is corruption, right?
Yes.
And corruption is not money that has disappeared. It is money that is stolen.
Yes.
It is money that has been taken. And money, as they say, has trail, has paper trail. It can be traced to where it has gone to. The government of Kenya today says, we want to get to a developed country. We want to get to Singapore. But if you look at what Lee Kuan Yew did in Singapore, the first thing he did was to criminalize corruption. If you were found to be corrupt, you would be shot dead. Today, Kenya finds itself at a position where corruption is coffee, tea, sleep, wake up corruption. If you form government, what is your promise in dealing with corruption so that the Singaporean dream becomes a reality?
Let me talk about Singapore. William Ruto is very good at narratives. Last election, he came with the bottom-up economic model. It has collapsed. He said he'll lift people from bottom to up. Those who own motorbikes will own centers and taxis. Those who own taxis will own matatus. Those who own matatus will own buses.
You believed him? You
trusted him? We believed him. We believed him. It was the greatest fraud in the history of Kenya. Electoral fraud. He called all of us and the people of Kenya, Mama Mboga, Boda. He doesn't talk about them anymore because he knows it's trash. He said, hustler fund, 500 shillings. What business can you do with 500 shillings? So he knows that nobody will listen to that hustler nonsense. Nobody will listen up to bottom-up economic model. So he has now come up with a new con game of Kenya should be like Singapore. Singapore, the country pursued a radically pro-business export-oriented strategy. Singapore slashed corporate taxes, guaranteed rule of law, and built investor confidence. So what is William Ruto doing? He's saying we want to be like Singapore. This is what Singapore did. Yeah? Himself, we are struggling businesses. Our importers in Mombasa are strained. The tax regime is oppressive. It kills business. Investors are fleeing Kenya due to corruption and insecurity. In Singapore, they rose to what they became because of rule of law. In Ruto'S Kenya, the one he wants to be Singapore, goons are in charge of the country. And he is saying that Kenya can be like Singapore. Singapore became what it is because of rule of law. Here is William Ruto, president of Kenya, saying Kenya will be like Singapore, first world. Singapore became what it is because of rule of law. In Ruto's Kenya, goons are in charge of the police. Who is going to invest in this country? When goons took over Nairobi and other centers, destroyed supermarkets, destroyed factories under police supervision, who in his right mind is going to come and invest in Kenya? Number two, in Singapore, education was made the primary engine of national development. In Kenya, in 3 years, Ruto has destroyed education. The free primary education brought by Mwai Kibaki, destroyed. Secondary school, free primary, secondary education brought by who? Destroyed. HELB, a system to fund university education, destroyed. And then he is saying, you know, that Kenya can be like Singapore. Singapore became what it is because education became the primary engine of national development. Here is a man lying to the people of Kenya so that they can be re-elected, that Kenya can be like Singapore. Yet the first thing he has done is the opposite of what Singapore did. Singapore made sure that education is the primary engine of development. William Ruto, who is cheating the people of Kenya, that Kenya can be like Singapore, the first thing he has done in 3 years of his presidency is to destroy the education system irreversibly. And then he is telling people that Kenya can be like Singapore. In Singapore, they had bilingual policy. English for economic competitiveness, mother tongue for identity. Okay? So here in Kenya, William Ruto says when you speak your mother tongue, you are tribal.
Mr. Gachagua, we've heard you.
When we are saying we need identity, he says if you speak your mother tongue, you are tribal.
We've heard what Singapore did. We've had the problems that Kenya faces before it gets to
corruption.
Singapore.
Corruption in Singapore. For Singapore to be what it is, corruption was aggressively implemented. And Singapore ranks the top 5 least corrupt countries for decades. Kenya, corruption is rewarded. State House is a crime scene. Bribery is a way of life. Theft of public resources is the in thing, where ministers display opulence.
That
today I saw some people from central Kenya, parastatal heads, the wider 7-star hotel, taking pictures, having breakfast, display of opulence from proceeds of corruption. Kenya, corruption is part of our life.
Mr. Gachagua,
and then Ruto is telling
Singapore.
He is telling us, whereas Singapore is where it is because it dealt with corruption. Ruto is a conveyor belt of corruption in Kenya.
Mr.
Look
Gachagua.
at what is happening in Ikolomani, my brother. 338 acres. 800 people are being displaced. It is said that there is gold there for 643 billion. We have information. The gold under is almost 6 trillion. This gold, why are the locals not involved?
Did you send
why is it not being...
Have you sent geologists to give you that
we have-
information?
let me
Or
tell
where are
you,
getting
let
that
me tell you what is
information
happening
from,
in this country.
Mr. Gachagua?
Let me tell you what is
Did
happening.
you send
Let me also
geologists
tell you
to
what
give
is
you this
happening in this
information?
country. Let me tell you what is happening in this country. Very many people are very bitter with the corruption that is being practiced. So we have a lot of information from people inside. The gold deposits in Kakamega are in excess of 6 trillion. Okay? Yet, this gold, without public participation, without consulting the people of Ikolomani and the people of Kakamega, have been given to a company where Ruto and company have shares. It's outright corruption. The gold deposits in Kakamega are enough, yeah, to make Kakamega a county that you salivate when you go there. And these gold deposits belong to the people of Kakamega, they don't belong to government. But because there is corruption, Musalia, Wetangula, and Shinali, the MP, have been compromised by Ruto. And I'm telling the people of Kakamega, they must say no, they must not allow their 6 trillion gold deposits to be stolen by William Ruto and company.
You've mentioned what Singapore has done to get to where it
Yes,
is.
corruption, they dealt with corruption.
You've mentioned problems
So
that
I'm
Kenya
asking you,
find
my
itself.
brother, you are
Question
telling
is-
me.
Question is, Mr. Gachagua, let's
Yes.
talk solutions.
Yes.
You form government. How will you achieve the Singaporean dream if you form government from the United Opposition perspective?
We don't want to tell people like we shall be like Singapore. We don't want narratives and theories like William Ruto does to cheat people. We are honest people. What we know, we don't know whether we'll become like Singapore or like Egypt or like America or like whoever. It doesn't matter. What we know is that we must deal with corruption. Corruption. And corruption is Kenya's problem. William Ruto is confusing everybody that the problem of Kenya is tribalism, so that people stop looking at the real problem of this country. You know, we must deal with corruption decisively. And we must make sure that independent institutions to fight corruption are allowed to do so. We must also make sure that people get what they earn rightfully. We must make sure that we don't sell public assets. Like now, pipeline was being sold at 100 billion.
Before we go to
Listen,
pipeline, I just want us to remain at
Ikolomani.
We'll go to pipeline.
Ikolomani, yes.
Still on Ikolomani.
Yes.
If you were the president of Kenya today, with the knowledge and the information that you have, that gold deposit is worth 6 trillion shillings, how differently would you have approached it?
We would have a very candid discussion with the people of Ikolomani and Kakamega. And that gold is not just within the 338 acres. That is just the entry point. Gold is underneath the whole of Kakamega. And these guys are not just going to dig that gold within 338 acres. They'll go beneath in all areas in Kakamega. We would have a very serious discussion with the people of Kakamega to tell the people of Kakamega, God in his own wisdom has given you wealth. How do we get this wealth in partnership between government and yourselves to transform your lives? How do we agree from the sale of this gold? How do we share the proceeds to go to development, to build roads, to have water for irrigation, to build boarding schools for children, to build ultra-modern secondary schools, to build universities, to boost people to do business? It is absurd that a few people, with the connivance of William Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi, Wetangula, and Shinali, want to steal 6 trillion from the people of Kakamega, and then they remain in abject poverty. And I'm telling the people of Kakamega, they must put their foot down. They should not, even if they are to be killed or jailed, the people of Kakamega cannot allow these gold deposits to go to a few people when they should benefit the people of Kakamega. And I'm asking them to stop it until we form government. Then when we form government, we can have a discussion. How do we exploit this mineral? And you know, my brother, minerals, The conflict in DRC is about minerals. The conflict in Sudan is about minerals. And the people of Kakamega must be prepared to say no. They must protect these gold deposits. There is no way 6 trillion worth of gold deposit that can transform a whole county should go to 4 people.
I want you to
it's unfortunate.
I want you to address yourself to the pipeline matter that you were talking about, the sale of the same. I want you as well to talk about securitization that the government has put in place to be able to get funds to push development of the country. What is your view on those two, as well as the road that is being constructed, the Mau Summit Road?
Pipeline,
where do you stand with that?
This issue of pipeline was brought when I was Deputy President. I was a chairman of the cabinet committee that would discuss matters before they go to cabinet. And I refused. I rejected it. It was only passed after I was removed from office. This pipeline is worth 600 billion. William Ruto wants to buy it at 100 billion. And he's the one buying it. And he told me, we have interest in this matter.
When did he tell you?
When I was in his deputy.
At what time?
When I refused, when I rejected it in cabinet committee, and his minister went and told him that I have refused, he called me and said, no, just please, let's process this thing. And I said, no. This thing, pipeline, is a national asset and is a strategic investment. How do you give the storage of our petroleum products in the hands of private people? These are strategic parastatals that have security implications for the security of the country. Again, how do you sell an institution worth 600 billion at 100 billion? And they are targeting some land in Mombasa. That land in Mombasa owned by pipeline. That land, is worth 400 billion. So you buy pipeline, but the land you are targeting is worth 400 billion. But I'm glad that some people went to court and this matter was put on hold. And I really want to pay great tribute to our judiciary. I have followed for the last 6 months, and I'm very happy that we have judicious men and women who love their country, who are patriotic, and who will not allow William Ruto to sell everything that we own in this country. Because what is happening, and I can tell you, all our national assets are being sold. These Bombers of Kenya here, something, our heritage for our culture, has been sold for 100 years, 99 years lease. And foreigners come, and they're in partnership with Ruto and other people close to him. You know, I've heard him today saying that he's not interested in any more wealth. I hope he means it. I hope he means it.
Finally, Mr. Gachagua,
I hope he means it.
I want you to address yourself to the
Limuru
Mau Summit Road. Where do you stand with that?
Yeah?
The development of the Limuru Mau Summit Road.
It is unacceptable because that program was done by the Uhuru government at 150 billion to the French. And when William Ruto came, he tried to talk to the French to see whether he can get something out of it, and they refused because they had already finalized the contract. So he cancelled the contract, and we had to pay 6.5 billion as penalty. We lost 6.5 billion so that he can cancel the contract. This contract now has been upgraded to 200 billion. And they are trying to give it to 2 contractors, which is against the law. Because the 2 contractors are not, the one contractor is not able to handle the volume. It's too much. It's against the law. Even when he launched it last Friday, he did it when there is no contract. It's a fraud, it's a con. How do you go to launch a program which you have not signed a contract? But the 50 billion is what Ruto and his people have negotiated with the Chinese. And this Chinese company, and we are telling the Chinese government, this CBRC, it is involved in a lot of corruption here in this country. And the way they are paying commission to the president is building up hotels and go downs for him in Mombasa Road and a hotel in Taveta. It is a very corrupt company, CBRC. And the Chinese people should know that that company is a purveyor and a conveyor of corruption in this country.
Do you have evidence to that effect, Mr. Gachagua?
How do you explain that the
Can you share them with us?
No, I'm asking, do you need rocket science or to have gone to a school for corruption studies?
One would say
everything
that you say, Mr. Gachagua, has to be backed by evidence. Because all you say is just allegation.
Why would you cancel a contract for 150 billion and do it for 200 billion? Same road, same country, different times. Why would anybody want to do that? Why would you be prepared to lose 6.5 billion to cancel a contract that you have no reason to do it? It is because of conflict of interest. And my brother, we also live in this country. And we know what is going on, and many people are talking to us, and we are saying it is insulting to the people of Kenya for Ruto to say that Kenya can be like Singapore. When Singapore, it is what it is because it fought corruption. When he is doing corruption every day, in every deal. Kenya now is a country of deals. And the corruption in Kenya is through procurement. Yeah.
Mr. Gachagua, thank you very much for hosting us in your home. A lot that needs to be discussed. Time is never enough to canvas everything that we have to discuss in 2 hours and some change. But that notwithstanding, Mr. Gachagua, we are heading to Christmas. Look straight into that camera. Speak to Kenyans, your final remarks and Christmas message to them.
I want to empathize with the people of Kenya as we proceed for Christmas. I appreciate the troubles they are going through, the pain, the anguish, the uncertainty, the economic and financial challenges that our people are undergoing. I empathize with the parents whose children were abducted and tortured, and some have never been recovered today. I empathize with them. I really feel for the people of Kenya because of the lies that their president gives them every day, when they can see the country is being looted left, right, and center, and there's nothing they can do.
Yes.
But I want to give hope to the people of Kenya as they go for Christmas, that Kenyans are very resilient people and they are very determined. I want to ask the people of Kenya to be patient and to have faith in the united opposition. I want to assure them that despite what they are hearing, the united opposition is one, and we shall produce one candidate to face William Ruto, to give the people of Kenya an opportunity to get a good government, a government that is transparent, a government that means well for them, a government that will create prosperity, a government that will observe the rule of law, a government that will respect institutions.
Yes.
So as they proceed for Christmas, I want to ask them to take care of themselves, to have safe travels, to avoid a lot of night travel, not to agree to be loaded in matatus like cabbages and potatoes, to demand that the matatus and the buses observe traffic regulations. And I want to ask them to spend less for Christmas, much as it's a festive season, to know that January is coming. January is a very, very difficult month. And even as they try to celebrate with the little that they have, they should take due care to make sure that they try to save a little to be able to help them in January, which is a very, very difficult month. Otherwise, for all Kenyans, I'll also be taking a Christmas and New Year break, and they will not be hearing of me from today. I'll also be joining my family in a village and the villagers for Christmas, and later on for the New Year festivities, and take a little break, and also try to do a few things in January like all other